Hi, welcome back. I placed a really large Sephora order a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to just kind of break down some of these products for you because a lot of them are things I've been getting comments about. But I didn't really want to do get ready with me style because I feel like that's not what you all are into. That's not always what I'm into in terms of filming. I thought this would be a good video for you all to look back on when the Sephora sale is happening, and just in general if these are things that you have been looking into. So I'm going to try to give you quick, concise reviews. And I've seen, I think it's Jessica Braun that does speed reviews on her channel. And I thought that would be really appropriate for this. We've got the Saie Beauty Cream Melt Bronzer. That's something I've been getting a lot of questions about. One of the new Charlotte Tilbury face palettes. Huda Beauty Glowish Skin Tint. We got a lot on the lineup, so hope you enjoyed. So I first want to start out with this right here. It's the Huda Beauty Glowish Multi-Dew Skin Tint. I got mine in the shade 02 Fair Light. I initially ordered the lightest shade, and tone-wise, or I guess shade-wise, like in terms of darkness and lightness, I think it would have fit me a little bit better than this one, but undertone-wise, number 2 fits me better. So unfortunately, the lightest shade on me was super pink. And it was also just slightly too light for me. So I went ahead and ordered the second one. And it fits me perfectly now, but I know it's going to be dark in the winter time. So just keep that in mind if you're my skin tone. So to cut to the chase, this reminds me of, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the big trend is right now with the barely there tints combined with something like extra glowy. But these are so similar, and I even did a side-by-side comparison just to kind of show you these side-by-side because they are very similar. The Glowish Skin Tint has a little bit more coverage, and it's the amount that no one would probably ever notice. It is like a little bit more buildable than the Skin Perfector, but in terms of the look and finish, they look almost identical. As a matter of fact, these two shades are really similar too. I have the shade Fair Light and the Perfector. Longevity wise, I wore this outdoors for in the evening time, and it held up okay. I mean, I feel like I'm on the fence in terms of how this wears on me throughout the day. Since it is so sheer light coverage, I feel like I can't really knock it too hard because it does fade well. I just think overall I get the pretty much the same effect with this guy right here. So you know, looks good, looks pretty healthy, glowy, but I hate to say it, already have something in my collection that is super similar and about half the price. This was listed as a new product, and it really intrigued me because I like the Tint Idole line from Lancome in general. They've come out with a new concealer. It is called All Over Concealer, and it is a part of the Tint Idole line. So I really like that line because it's super long wearing. It does tend to run in the fuller coverage spectrum, the powder, the foundation, and I guess I don't know if they've ever done a concealer in this lineup. But I got the shade 215 Buff In. This is a little dark for me. It fits me. It's on the brink of just being a little bit too dark. So again, if you feel like you're my skin tone, I would recommend going down a shade. I will probably end up repurchasing this in a lighter color because, spoiler, I do like this. Despite, like I said, the Tint Idole line being so full coverage, this I feel like runs in the medium coverage spectrum. It's also very thin and flexible, which we love in a concealer. And I also think it's a really good layering concealer, meaning it does pair nicely with something like that Huda Beauty Skin Tint because it does offer a little bit more coverage, but it's also really flexible. It's gonna blend well with something that you have underneath that's really skin-like or has a nice skin finish to it, if that makes sense. And in terms of all over concealer, wearing it all over the face, it's hard for me to judge that right now because the problem I have with it is that it's too dark for my face. Fits my body really nicely, but it's pretty dark on my face. So it's hard for me to gauge when, you know, if you're just like a shade off, it's really hard to gauge, you know, how well it just blends and how well it looks overall into the skin. But I will say I do like the texture of it, super thin. I don't find it to be pore enhancing. I don't find it to be cakey, and very flexible, very easy to blend out. So all in all, I would say give it a shot. I have been getting a lot of comments about this, and it's the Saie Beauty. I think that's how you pronounce this brand. S-A-I-E, Saie. That's what I'm gonna call it. Sun Melt Bronzer. So this is a nice little cream bronzer here. I got mine in the shade Light Bronze, and it is a perfect color for me. This is basically what the name says. It melts into the skin really nicely, very emollient. It is a sheer bronzer, but I do find that I can build it up without any issues. So overall application wise, I find this to be really nice. I have been enjoying wearing this, especially with like my Maybelline 4-in-1 Perfector, because they're both sheer products. They blend really nicely. And the undertone, it seems like it's gonna be really, really warm, but surprisingly, I find that since I do have a little bit of a tan right now, it blends really naturally with my skin. And in terms of the blendability, I would compare it to one of my favorite products, which is Charlotte Tilbury's Hollywood Contour Wand. Not in undertone. That one is obviously much more cool, and that's why I love it so much, especially in the wintertime. But they both blend out seamlessly, flawlessly, and I think this product would last you a really long time. So I would say yes on this one. I have really been enjoying it. It is beautiful, creamy, melty, buttery, smooth product. We've got another cream product coming in on the lineup, and it's the Huda Beauty. This is the higher standard satin matte cream blush in the shade Confident. So this is what it looks like. I love the packaging, very cute packaging here. And I have to say right off the bat, this was a winner for me. I could tell this was a cream blush formula that I could get down with. Number one, I really enjoy matte cream blushes. I find that they have a longer wear. The longevity seems to be a little bit better on them compared to a really high water content cream blush that's super sheer. And speaking of pigment, this is a highly pigmented cream blush. We love to see it. I do like cream blushes. You know, sometimes a sheer cream blush, it's pretty, you can get down with it depending on what you're wearing, but I like to see a good pigmented cream blush, and this one definitely has a lot of pigment to it. As far as the color goes, it's a beautiful, you know, like traditional rose blush hue. So, I'm a fan of this. Also, the price, it's like 16 bucks. I think it is well worth it. Much cheaper than a lot of cream blushes that are on the market right now. And you do get, you know, a decent amount of product in here. I feel like, again, this is something that's probably going to last you a while because it has a lot of pigment to it. Okay, this is Patrick Starr's One Size Powder Foundation. This was something that just kind of caught my eye. It's called Turn Up the Base Versatile Powder Foundation. It is supposed to be buildable up to a full coverage. I got the shade Light 2N, and it's kind of like a perfect match for me. So if you feel you're similar to me, this is the shade that I got. And I have worn this both as a setting powder. Today I'm wearing it as a setting powder since, you know, I have so many other products underneath, but I think I did take a photo, which I'll try to include here, of me just wearing it by itself. Very reminiscent of MAC Studio Fix powder. It does have... Who are you talking to, bud? You talking to mom? It does have a completely matte finish to it, very buildable, overall super smooth finish, no complaints with this. And like I said, if you're familiar with MAC Studio Fix, this definitely reminds me of that. Very similar. If you like matte powder foundations, this is something you will probably like. If you like something that has versatility, that you can wear sheer as a setting powder or build up for a fuller coverage, again, very nice. It's super smooth. I'm wearing it as my setting powder today, and yeah, it looks beautiful. It really does. It did a good job melting in with especially those super emollient base products that I have underneath. So no complaints. Okay, let's bring out the big guns here. This is the new Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look of Love in a palette. This is the Pretty Blush Beauty one. There are 2 palettes you can pick from in this collection. This one I think is targeted more for the lighter skin tone. The other one is for darker skin tones. So this is something I've had my eye on, and it's one of those things that it's so funny. Every time I talk about one of these palettes, it's 50-50 in the comments. Either people love them or people think they are the biggest waste of money. And I have to say, if you are a Charlotte Tilbury fan, these are kind of like collector items. They are pretty expensive, I'm not gonna lie. It always crushes my soul when I pay for one of these, and I try not to purchase them until the Sephora sale rolls around. But something just kept calling my name when I would look on the site with this particular palette. So I understand they are not for everyone. If you are someone that enjoys Charlotte Tilbury, you enjoy her shadows. If you are a fan of Charlotte products, then like I said, I just feel like these are seen as kind of like collector items. But in regards to this palette, it is probably my favorite one that I've owned so far, and this will be my 3rd one. My first one was the Smoky Eye Edition. That one has been out for years. I used it in so many tutorials, so many examples. And then I also have, oh gosh, I forgot what the other one is that I have, but it came out, I want to say it's the one that came out last year. And that one, undertone wise, was not my favorite. It was very, very warm. And so this one has come into my life, and I have to say it has been my favorite so far. All of the shades are really appropriate for my skin tone. They're super just neutral and just kind of like what you would want in an everyday look. So as far as all the shades in here go, I'm impressed. It's probably been the one that, like I said, I feel like I will use the most, that is the most versatile for me. You know, the shades, the eyeshadow shades in here, I never use them in the order that they say. I actually go backwards, like the way I applied them today on my eyes. I use the matte first, then the little satin, and then the pop on the center of my eye. I mean, I think the eyes are very pretty. I look at my eyes and you can't knock it. You can't knock a good like champagne creamy brown eye like this, you know what I mean? In terms of the face products in here, I feel like they are smoother than the ones in the past. I can't guarantee or confirm that, but from comparing to my other ones, all of the face products in here, the bronzer, the blush, the highlight, the face powder, they seem smoother. And also one thing about this palette that is different from the others, at least the ones that I own, is you get a face powder in here this time. This is the Airbrush Flawless powder, which I think is a big plus. Before, you used to get 2 blushes and then a highlighter, and I think I like this lineup much better. So you get an Airbrush Flawless powder in here. So super smooth on the powder application down below here. I personally love her eyeshadows because I find them to be not overly pigmented, but they're also not like crappy sheer eyeshadows. You know what I mean? So for me, this one was a winner. It's definitely going to be my most used. Like I said, if you're a fan, then maybe put it on your list for the next Sephora sale. So I don't think these products are new, but I just wanted to order them on a whim because it looked like they had some good shades, and it's the Sephora Collection Rouge Gel Lip Liners. And the gel part got me because sometimes I'm not looking for a super dry lip liner formula like my Charlotte Tilbury ones, although I love them. Sometimes the gel formulas you just can throw on and they have a nice kind of glossy tint to them. And overall, I have been pleased with these. I got 3 shades, 2 of which I think are really good dupes for my actually 3. I found one of my Charlotte Tilbury lip pencils that I completely forgot that I had in my collection, and this 3rd one reminds me of it. I got the shades Creme de la Creme, Rose Wine, and Dressed to the 90s. So like I said, super smooth, hydrating gel lip liner formula. The longevity is really nice on these as well. Not as long wearing as like what a matte one would be, but they have pretty good lasting power. And for the price, they're like 13 bucks. I don't think you can beat it. I have been pleased with these. So Dressed to the 90s, wonderful dupe for Iconic Nude from Charlotte Tilbury. Creme de la Creme is very similar to Pillow Talk. It's a little bit more nude. but it still is like that perfect nude pink with like a slight touch of pink to it. I recently found Super Size Me in my collection from Charlotte Tilbury, and this rose wine color, very similar. If you see me bouncing, I have Max sitting in my lap, like literally right here. So the last thing I got from Sephora is the Lawless Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss. This is something I've seen some of you really enjoy in the comments, and then I've just been seeing you know, people asking if I could try this out. So I have it on right now. Very pretty color. I got the one that has like a little bit of like a mauve hue to it. It's called Velvet. Honestly, it just kind of, in real life, it's just more like a true pink. It's not super mauvish to me. This is a very thick gloss. It's very thick, almost like jelly consistency. And I have to say, for me, it definitely does. I don't really notice a difference in my lips. I think the thickness of it is what gives that fuller effect, and obviously the line smoothing effect. But in terms of like plumping, like a Buxom or like my Milani Keep It Fulls, I don't really notice my lips to look fuller. With my Milani ones, my lips immediately look like double the size. And with this one, I just find that it's a thicker formula. Don't love that about it, and I don't find it to be the longest wearing on my lips. I just applied this less than 30 minutes ago, and I feel like it's already worn off like 50%. So if you're depending on that like thick texture and it wears off quickly, then I can just only see you having to reapply this pretty frequently. And then this could be good or bad depending on what you like in a plumping gloss. It doesn't really have a ton of like the minty feel to it. It's very mild. Some of you like that, I know, and some of you want that sting. You want the plumping effect. So this was, it's just kind of a dud for me. I don't feel like it's something I'm going to reach for often. You win some and you lose some, especially in the plumping gloss category. This is not a Sephora purchase, but I did want to throw this out there because it's a newer release and I've really been enjoying it. It's the Persona Swipe Up Brow Gel. And I love the shade that I have. It's blonde. Perfect tone for my brows right now. And I have to say, I have been really pleased with the application. Really great formula that truly does fill in and also hold your brows in place, which again, we can't ask for more. But yeah, overall, just the color. I really love this color on my eyebrows right now. The formula is a little bit more wet than what I tend to go for, but it's not like a messy paint type of wet. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a middle ground, and obviously this is going to dry out the more that I use it. But I've been really impressed with Persona launches lately, and this is no exception. Okay, those are all of my speed review products. I hope you enjoyed seeing some in action, some reviews. Let me know your thoughts if you have any of these products in your collection. I want this to be a video that people kind of just look back on, especially when it's time for the sale, just to get, you know, a secondhand opinion. And it always helps in the comments to kind of collaborate because it helps people who have different skin types and different skin tones than I do. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.